And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Metzler here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a game from Cryptozoic Entertainment. We're going to take a look at the epic spell wars of the Battle Wizards Duel at Mount Skullsfire. I had to read it because I can't seem to remember the name of it. But this is a game for 2 to 6 players. It's a card game in which each player represents a wizard who is trying to be in a duel to the death with all of the other wizards. Everyone will have their own set of cards, and they'll be creating spells in order to try and deal damage to the other players. Now, a little bit of a warning, this is not perhaps a family-friendly game. The rulebook is a little vulgar, and the images can be a little disturbing, probably if you have younger children, or children you just simply don't want to be seeing a little bit more graphic images, even if they are cartoons. So, there's your warning for that. Otherwise, why don't we take a look at what you get inside this box, how the game plays, and then I'll come back here with my final opinions of it. So here you can see the components for Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards Duel at Mount Skullsfire. And this is going to be a card game for 2 to 6 players, a relatively simple filler, if you like, card game in which players are going to represent wizards. And what you get here, you'll see you have some dice. They're just standard 6-sided dice. You have these little player mats with the different wizards. They don't have special abilities, but these are going to be for tracking your life. You'll see you start at 20, which is marked with these little skull tokens. And there are several different types of characters. We have Faye Ticklebottom, or Zanzibart, or Jung Jung. Anyhow, you can choose what you want to be. In addition, you're going to have several decks of cards. You'll see we have a large deck here, which are these spell components. You have a treasure deck, which you'll get for casting some spells, and then you have the dead wizard cards, which, if you get eliminated early from the game, are going to give you benefits for the next round. Finally, you'll see we have these little tokens, and these are called Last Wizard Standing tokens. The objective of the game being to beat or destroy all of the other wizards and have only one person remaining at the end of a round who will get one of these tokens, and the first person to get 2 of these tokens will be the winner of the game. You also get this standy-uppy mountain thing that is of no importance to the game, so I'm going to put it to the side. During the game, during each round, each player is going to get 8 cards. So they're going to take these cards and they're going to look at them, and they're going to have different types of cards. So we have Fist O' Nature, which is a delivery card. It'll say delivery down in the corner, and you can also tell because it has the end of a banner on it. Or we have Inferno-tastic, which is the middle part of a spell, also known as the quality with the little Q in the corner. Or we have, let's take a look, we have here the source of a spell, which would be Sir Lutzor's here. And this is going to be the start part of a spell. In addition, all parts of spells are going to have different types of traits. For example, this one here is a primal spell, and that may be referenced. Or this one here is a elemental spell. And they all have different effects on them that you'll resolve as you play them. Now, each player is going to have their hand of cards, and they're going to be building a spell from this. And if they're going to build a spell, they can build it from 1, 2, or 3 components, so they could just choose Inferno-tastic and play it, or they could build a spell using all of the 3 different types of components. So, for example, if they wanted to use 2 components, it would have to be either a start or a middle and an end, or some combination where you don't have 2 ends or 2 middles, something like that. Or, if they wanted to use 3 cards, they could use all 3, a start, a middle, and an end. And they're going to choose their cards that they want to play, and they're going to put them in a stack, and they're kind of going to hide them until everyone has chosen what cards they're going to play. Once everyone chooses what cards they're going to play, you're going to reveal how many cards you have. So, for example, I would say, I have 3 cards. And whoever played the least amount of cards is going to go first, and you're going to go from least to most. Now, if there's a tie, you're going to look at what your initiative is. An initiative is only printed on the delivery of spells. It's going to be very hard to see, but right here in this little circle here, you can see a 14. That's my initiative. And high initiative will break ties, going down to low initiative. And as you resolve your spell, you're going to do whatever your spell says, from your source to your quality to your delivery, in order, and then in initiative order. So the first person would take a look at their spell, and let's say they played Sir Lutzor's, and this says, you gain a treasure. So they're going to get a card from this treasure deck. And it's going to do something. It says your power rolls have +2. More on that later. But they get a treasure, and then it says each foe rolls a die. And they're going to roll their die, and anybody who gains a 6 or rolls a 6 also gets a treasure. Good. So maybe they'll get some benefit, maybe they won't. After you've resolved that, you're going to move on to your middle part of your card if you have, or your spell if you have one. This one says deal 1 damage to each foe for each elemental glyph in your spell. So we're going to look and see how many elemental glyphs there are in my spell. Well, my first card is not elemental, and my last card is also not elemental, so everybody's going to take 1 damage, and they'd mark that on their sheet. Then I would go and resolve the last part of my spell here, and so we have Fist O Nature, and it says the target is automatically going to be my opponent on my left. And for that I'm going to roll a die. It would be 1 die for each primal glyph I have in my spell. Well, that's only 1. But I got a treasure that says I roll 2 extra dice. I add 2 to my roll. So I'm going to roll 1 die and add 2 to it. And we'll look at this and it tells me what the effects are. I roll my die and I got a 3. Well, that would be a 5. So I'd look on here, a 5. The foe to my left takes 2 damage. And that's all that happens. And then the next person would do their whole spell in that order, marking hit points. And when every other opponent, when only one opponent is left with hit points, that person is going to be the winner. Now, as people die, they're going to get what are called Dead Wizard spells. And these are going to be useful because for the next round it will give you an advantage. So for example, if I were to die early, I would get one of these cards, and this one here says, you start the next game with +3 hit points, so it's going to make me a little stronger. And for each round that you are dead, where people are still fighting, you're going to get another one of these cards. So the earlier you die, the more likely you are to be stronger and capable of winning the next round. So a little bit of a balancing factor there, or a evening things out so the game lasts more rounds. Whoever is the first person to win 2 rounds by being the last wizard standing, getting 2 of these tokens, will be the winner of the game. And there you have the gameplay of Epic Spell Wars. A pretty simple, light card game, and even though really not my style of game, one that I did enjoy playing. There's not a great amount of strategy to the game. I mean, you're going to try and act before other players, especially if you're at a low hit point value. You need to get your spell off before other people. But there are cards that will mess with that and make that impossible, kind of ruining that strategy there. You can always try and play the higher initiative cards, but always play 3 cards in order to go maybe after some people who don't have a great hand, but before others. But again, it's still going to kind of fall to luck. And I guess in this case, that's kind of what it's about. So I'm not sure all of the vulgarity was necessary in the rule book. I do actually enjoy the art of the game, and I think it's a fun game. So if you like a little more random, but entertaining fillers, one that you can just kind of sit down and teach to your friends easily, enjoy the gameplay and be done with it, check out Epic Spell Wars. I think you might really enjoy it.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.